Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today for the last of our 5-part webinar series about ArcGIS Online for local government. If you want to view any of the previous webinars, you can find those at electdata.com/webinars.php. I'm Allison Walker, the Tech Services Manager here at Electronic Data Solutions, and I'll be doing the webinar today. In this webinar, I'm going to show you a couple quick, simple apps available, and today I'm also going to take a couple minutes to show you where those are and how you can get started with them. I have also a couple examples of story maps to hopefully give you some inspiration, and I also wanted to show you a possible code enforcement and inspection app and collector to hopefully assist in reducing your paper forms. Please don't hesitate to send me your questions and comments using the questions section in your webinar panel, and I'll do my best to keep an eye on that and get any questions answered. If I'm unable to answer your question for any reason during the webinar, I will reach out to you after the webinar is over. So planning, for the most part, has a lot to do with field data, has a lot less to do, with field data collection than the utilities that we've talked about in our previous webinars. Planning and zoning departments are usually working to help plan growth within the community and administer and enforce the city codes. So this usually involves a large amount of citizen engagement and presenting information to city managers and city councils and zoning commissions and so on. Many times this department is not made up of GIS professionals and are depending on the GIS staff to help provide informative maps to meet their needs. The planning and development departments are more focused on engaging citizens and presenting information than the utility, emergency, and addressing departments that we've previously discussed. And the maps and apps in this section really do reflect that. For example, the public comment app, nothing too fancy, very simple map that allows citizens to see current planning or zoning projects on the map, as well as additional details on the side panel, and it allows citizens to like or comment on a project. They can easily navigate around the different proposals by their name on the side panel or by clicking on them on the map. Here in the Naperville downtown project, you can see some comments from other citizens. And over here on the right, you can also include attachments to the project so they can link directly to the plan or the proposal for additional information. So really easy to use, highly effective at capturing public feedback on projects and proposals. And this information can then be shared with the city council or manager, or planning commission, or whoever needs that information. And just like all the apps available from ArcGIS Online, they're already optimized to work on phones, tablets, whatever device you're using. This is the same app on my smartphone, and you can see I have access to all of the same information. So this didn't take any additional configuration to make this available. It can do all the same stuff. I could add in a comment here if I wanted to. I'm just going to cancel out of that. I can also get to the map here on my phone, and of course it's an interactive map, so I can pan around. I can zoom into the area that I'm interested in. I can tap on a project here in the map section, and that brings me into the description of that particular project. So all the same functionality available on phones, tablets, no matter what device you're using. Here's another one that can help citizens and new businesses with their decision making or help them understand and assess their own risk, is the floodplain inquiry map. Again, simple, straightforward, not a lot of other layers that confuse the point of the application. A user can come in and use the search box to search for a specific address, or they can use the map to find what they're looking for. I can see a building here that's overlapping the floodplain, and when I click on that, I get additional info about the property, and I can see that the parcel does intersect the defined floodplain. I can also have links in here if I want to link somewhere else, for example, to the FEMA information for this area, which is not a very fast application or very easy to use, maybe a little bit dated, probably time to upgrade this site. But you can see that I can get some official documentation on how the flood insurance is being calculated for this property. It's a little bit awkward to use. If I could actually zoom in far enough to see the information, then I would be able to have that available to me there. And you can see there that, yes, I can link to this web map. They probably need an ArcGIS online map. This is not very easy to use, but I can use their tools there. So I wanted to take a quick second here and show you where you can get these apps and what the initial steps are to get them deployed. So here I have a link here to solutions.arcgis.com. That's where you find all of these bits and pieces for the local government model. If I click on that, I got to bring this over here. It brings me into the ArcGIS Solutions page. And if I click this Find Yours button right here, then I can see all the different sections of the different models that are available here. I'm interested in the local government. Obviously, that's what we're working on today. Here are some sections that we've talked about in previous webinars. Today, I'm interested in the planning and development section of that local government model. And apparently it's going to be slow today. When I come in here, there we go. I can come into this encourage orderly growth. You can see how now it's broken down into even further. If I click on learn more there, then I'll see here is where that floodplain app is. So let's say that that's the one that I'm interested in. I can just click download right here and it will download all the little bits and pieces that I need in order to deploy that application. You can click on the Learn More button here if you want to see a description of what the application does and some of the requirements. So all of these apps have this requirements section that'll tell you kind of what you're getting into here, what you kind of need to know to get that started, what software you're going to need to have in order to get this up and running. And some applications that will be available when you download it. There's also a download button here. And a lot of them have this try it now where you can just go in and click around and see if this actually is what you're looking for. So all of these apps start with the local government geodatabase, which is downloaded with just about any app setup. So then the trick is either taking what you need from it and adopting it to your data, or migrating your data into the local government geodatabase, which is really what we recommend. Now, keep in mind that when you get this database, it's populated with sample data from Naperville, Illinois. So in every one that you download, you'll probably get this Maps and Geodatabase. Here's the geodatabase here, and it has basically the entire geodatabase, even though I'm only going to use a piece of it for this application. So again, it has that sample data in there, so it allows you to practice setting up the application using their data before you go to publish your own. But when you do want to publish your own, the first step when dealing with the database is going to be to download and install the X-ray extension for geodatabases. It's a free extension. You can download it and get it installed. You'll export a schema-only XML from the local government geodatabase that will basically give you a blank copy that doesn't have any data in it. And then you'll use the X-ray tool to modify the spatial reference of the geodatabase. So most people aren't going to want an Illinois State Plane spatial reference for their geodatabase. This X-ray tool allows you to change that and set it to the spatial reference that you would actually use for your data. Now, full and complete directions for that process are included in a free online training that you can find on the Esri training site. And this step really seems to be the biggest obstacle for local governments looking to use the local government maps and apps, and one part that we can certainly help with, whether planning for the migration, modifying the database to meet your needs, or actually migrating the data. So if this is the part that's preventing you from using the apps, please consider getting in touch with us so we can help you take advantage of all this has to offer. Okay, so once you have the database populated, then it's really just a matter of following the steps. So you can see I'm back here in that same web page. Instead of being on the Home tab, you go over to the Getting Started tab or the Get Started tab, and just follow the directions. It'll basically take you through step by step what you need to do in order to publish the service, create the web map, and stand up the application on your site. Some of them can work with data just in ArcGIS Online. Others require you to have an ArcGIS for server to publish certain geoprocessing tools. But that'll all be listed out in the requirements on the homepage of the app. So some will require a server, some will not, and you'll just have to go through and see what you're going to need there. All of them can use server. If you don't like the idea of publishing your data to ArcGIS Online, that's fine as well. Then you just want to put nice looking thumbnails on your apps and organize them into groups that will be shared internally or publicly. And this is where consistent branding on your ArcGIS Online page will come in handy, and your ArcGIS administrator can assist with that. So just to reiterate, we're focused in this section on engaging the community, inviting feedback from the community, encouraging quality development with that cooperation, and being able to present all that feedback easily to decision makers. Now, when it comes to presenting information, whether to citizens or to the City Council, story maps are a really valuable and easy to use tool. So I'm going to use the Fairfax County ArcGIS Online page as an example here because they've done a really nice job of branding and populating this page. See their well thought out thumbnails there. And here's an example of how a story map can be used. So you see here, we have a cultural history tour of Old Colchester Park and Preserve. And when I click on that and open it up, it brings up their really nice story map, a great way of presenting information. And I can click around on the map. The map is interactive, or I can click on the different sections on this ribbon on the bottom if I want to get to the different pieces. And I can get some additional information. You can include photos in there, schematics, drawings. They're using a bunch of different pieces, a bunch of different information here to share the information. If I go to another one here, here's one. It's a little bit different, maybe a little off the planning and development, but the city of McCall here in Idaho used a story map to propose a tax for repairing and rebuilding their streets. So again, a story map. Theirs is a little bit different. They're using the one with the tabs across the top rather than the ribbon at the bottom, but same idea. We're able to click on the different tabs and we get different maps showing different locations and areas that need assistance. Pictures and a description, estimated costs are all included in there. And this was really effective for them in order to get that tax passed so that they could do some repairs on their streets, which, as you can see, really need it. So creating a story map doesn't require any GIS expertise. The GIS person can publish the data and help make web maps look nice and be symbolized consistently. But once the maps are there, anyone can take advantage of that and make their own story map. Okay, I'm going to change gears here a little and also talk about Collector for a sec. One place where planning departments may deal with field data collection is in code enforcement. Residential is many times covered by the police department, but often it falls in the planning department, and building and code enforcement is almost always the responsibility of the planning and zoning personnel. So one place where the Collector app might be really useful is when doing inspections. So just take your paper forms and put it into the form of a geodatabase and collect the data electronically. So here I am in the Collector app. I'm going to switch it over to My Maps to shorten the list a little bit. And if I scroll down here, then I can find my code enforcement application. And I'll open that up. And you can see all the different code violations on the map here. And when I'm out in the field on my cell phone or on my tablet, or even a Windows 10 tablet now will work as well. I can tap on any one of these and I can choose to show the details, and I can see the information about this particular violation. So I can see there's an RV parked there longer than 7 days. Down here at the bottom, it's using related tables to relate the different code inspections. So we can see that in 2010, the RV was removed, and then this violation was closed, so it's no longer active. But I can still see the history of that on the map. I can tap on this other one that is still currently open, and I can see information about that also. If I come in here and show the details, and again, I can see, okay, there's an illegal sign in front of a business, when that was opened, and down here, again at the bottom, whoops, sorry about that. I can fill out additional inspection information and submit that. Now I might want to go in, now that this sign has been removed and I've filled out an inspection saying so, I can come back in and I can edit the details of this violation. We'll come in there and I will say, okay, now this sign has been removed, so I'm going to change this violation status from open to closed and update that, and it's going to change that symbology on my map, and then I can go on about my business to the next violation or inspection that I need to do for the day. Now, coming back into ArcGIS Online, this is the web map in ArcGIS Online that was hosting that application for Collector. There's the code violation right there. I can see that. Now, if I come in here and just refresh this web page here real quick, then that should update any information that has been modified in Collector. And sure enough, I can see there now the symbology has changed. I can see the related subjects or the related records, and I can see the different inspections there. Okay, now this doesn't have to only happen in ArcGIS Online. I can view this same information in ArcMap. So if I get out of here and I open up this map in ArcMap, where are you? Sorry. Excuse me, let me just get out of this map in ArcGIS Online. Okay, now I'm in ArcMap, and I'm going to add my data directly from ArcGIS Online. Now, because I'm signed in through ArcMap to my ArcGIS Online account, I can see all of my information in here. So I'm just going to search for my code enforcement layer, and there it is. I see it right there. I'm going to add that into my map in desktop if I wanted to be able to work with this data in desktop. So I'm going to also real quick add a base map here so that we can have just a little frame of reference. I will use the OpenStreetMap. There we go. Okay. So now I'm looking at the same data in ArcMap, and you can see that that one down in the lower left was updated. If I want to work with the data here, I can always use the edit features and just create a local copy for editing. So I can edit the data directly in ArcMap, or if I were using ArcGIS Pro, I could do it there as well. Let's say that I got a call or a complaint and I need to add in a new code violation. So I've started editing on this. In my local copy, we'll say that there's a violation right there or a complaint there. I'm going to come in here and fill out some of these attributes. We'll just make this up here. We'll call it 0222. An address. Let me zoom in a little bit closer here and see if I can get an address. We will call it Crestwood Court. That will work here for the address. So I'm just going to go through, fill out some of the information here real quick. We'll say it's in the front yard and they have a grass and weeds problem there. Again, residential might not be handled by your department, but you get the idea. You could do the same thing with building code enforcement. We'll put in a date and we'll submit that. Okay, so now I'm going to save those edits and then I'm going to sync with the server. So if I go back in here to edit features, synchronize edits with the server. So I'm treating ArcGIS Online as my server. That's where my data is hosted. Same thing could work if you have it actually hosted in ArcGIS for server. Now that's syncing that information with ArcGIS Online. So if I go back into Collector, since it's feeding off of the same feature service, when I come and zoom out in my Collector map, and once it redraws here, there we go. Now I can see my new feature that I just added in ArcGIS Desktop. So it's all linked together and connected in real time. So whatever you edit in Desktop will be immediately available in ArcGIS Online, will be immediately available in Collector. Now, let's say that your GIS person isn't the one who takes the phone calls from somebody complaining about a code violation. Let's say that that's happening maybe at the front desk and they're not a GIS person. I can easily share this map and create a quick little web app. So here I have it shared just internally with my department, so only people with a login to my organization are going to be able to see this. I can come over and I can create a quick geo form. So I'm going to create a really quick form. I'm going to give it a title, and when I click done here, then it will take me to the form creation, which is basically just a real quick wizard that kind of walks me through the steps of setting up this application. So I'm just going to click next, choose a web map. Yes, that's the one I want. Choose the layers. I will take all of them, give it a title. I can pick a specific logo if I have one with my own company on there and my own city logo. Choose which fields I want available, choose a quick form. And I'm going to turn that off there and click next and preview the application. So, I mean, literally you can build this form in a matter of minutes. You might want to take a few more seconds than I did. I kind of did it quick and dirty there, but it's really easy to create. And when I click on save, then now I have a form and it's available at this link right here. So I could take that, just email it to the person who takes these phone calls. They could save it as a favorite, or we could even put that as a link on a website if that's how they wanted it. Since I have it only shared internally with my organization, they will need a login when they come to this form, so that not anybody can just come in here. And then they can fill out the information. So if I have somebody at the front desk who's taking this call, they can fill out all the information about where this is, what the violation is, what the date of the complaint is. And then if they set the violation status to open, then that will set the symbology. And then they can use the location selector, so they can either type in an address and that will locate where this violation is, or there is a locate me button there if you happen to be using this on a tablet or something that had GPS included. If I search for that Crestwood, it was Crestwood Court, not Crestwood Circle, but I can see it'll zoom me in right there, and I can even click on the map to make it a little bit more specific. Actually, they say it's over here. That's where the problem is. Now, when they submit that entry, again, it's just putting a new feature into that feature service. So it's basically doing the exact same thing that I did when I edited that information in ArcGIS Desktop. And now if I'm back in ArcGIS Desktop, again, because it's all connected, if I refresh the map, I should be able to see that that new feature is popping up on the map. So basically the idea is everything is connected. I should be able to see it also in my ArcGIS Online web map. There it is again, because it's all using the same feature service. And that also means then it will be available to me in Collector in the field. So you could have somebody in the office taking that information from a call, filling out the form. As soon as they hit enter, that's immediately available to the code inspector in the field, and they can go do their inspection, and that information will automatically be published as soon as they finish their inspection. So again, you could share that externally if you wanted citizens to be able to fill out their own complaints, and that would be available. Or like I said, you can keep this just internal and keep it just within the department. So when you're thinking about ArcGIS Online for planning and zoning, you want to think of it not as making everyone who uses the information into GIS people, but rather providing the tools and applications to quickly and easily provide the needed information in simple to use formats like the GeoForm that we just looked at. When working with feature services, whether hosted on your own server or on ArcGIS Online, the apps all tie together to keep everything up to date no matter where you're viewing it and no matter what device you're using it on. Presenting information through great formats like story maps, whether you're presenting to the City Council or sharing a story with your citizens. And remember that, ArcGIS Online apps are a really easy way to get your authoritative information into the hands of your citizens who want their information on tablets and smartphones. Having your website only work on a PC is no longer acceptable to your customers. So as I've mentioned in previous webinars, not only do we provide all our traditional field data collection services, we also have a range of services packaged around our ArcGIS Online specialty rating. So I'd just like to ask that you keep us in mind if you find you need any assistance. We've set up these applications on servers or hosted online. We've assisted with data migration to the local government database. We've worked with parcel fabrics in the local government model. And while these things aren't overly complicated, they can be time-consuming and and we can help to ensure that projects like this don't just sit on the back burner for the next couple years. We really want to help with projects that improve communication between departments and between the city and its citizens. And as Electronic Data Solutions has always been, we are experts in making your field data collection and integration more efficient and effective. So that's it for today. For additional information, you can check out our websites. You can see our ArcGIS Online homepage there, where we have some examples of what we're doing now. We have our blog there at electdata.com/blog, where you can see additional information. There's lots of good information out there, not just about ArcGIS Online and Collector. And then our ArcGIS Online services at the store.electdata.com here. If you go to GIS services there, then you can see the different areas we're working. And if you have any questions for me, you can always feel free to email me directly, Allison, ALISON, at electdata.com. And it doesn't look like I had any questions or comments come in here, so I'm a couple minutes over, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But like I said, please feel free to get in touch with us if there's anything that we can do to help. Thanks so much for attending this webinar series. I really appreciate it, and have a great Wednesday.